Hi, my name is Dan. I finished last in my fantasy football league. This week, I'm listing my top 10 QBs. Yes, you heard that right. The guy who finished last in his league is going to tell you the top 10 QBs for this upcoming season. And yes, I expect disagreement. Let's face it, the reason this is my punishment is the hope that I'll say something so ridiculous the rest of my league can call me out for it all season long. So why not give them some fodder? I also want to be clear. This isn't who I think are the best QBs in the league. These are the 10 QBs I think will have the best fantasy seasons this year. Number 10, Caleb Williams. Come on, you think a Bears fan isn't going to include his QB on this list? Caleb finished 6th in fantasy points among quarterbacks last year and set a Bears record for passing yards, though we still don't have a 4,000-yard passer. He's the 8th ranked QB based on average draft position and ranked 9th, 8th, and 9th by ESPN, Yahoo, and Sleeper, respectively. The question marks for Caleb is the completion percentage and making the simple throws. It didn't hurt too much during the season last year as interceptions were low, but did kill a few drives. He is also going into season 2 with a new coach, and as Bears fans know, that doesn't always work out well for the team or the QB. Right, Justin? Mitch? Number 9, Dak Prescott. Did you know Dak had the most completions last year? Was 3rd in yards and top 6 overall in fantasy points. Me either until I prepared for this video. He's 7th based on average draft position and ranked 10th, 10th, and 11th. So I guess I'm splitting the difference between the field and the experts. Depending on what metric you use, the schedule could be tough this year, which may make life difficult for Dak. And well, the Cowboys just keep finding ways to disappoint everyone, but they're haters. Also, I mistakenly typed Drac when writing this, and now I can't think anything different. Number 8, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence may have had one of the quietest great seasons last year, throwing for 4,000 yards and finishing 4th in fantasy points. I picked him up late in the season, and he helped drive my toilet bowl run that fell just short. I'm actually surprised he's the 11th drafted QB on average, and also ranked 11, 11, and 10. Maybe they know something I don't? My main concerns with Lawrence are how the loss of ATN affects the offense and whether his receivers can actually catch the ball. They led the league with 45 drops last year. Number 7, Matthew Stafford. Stafford had an MVP season last year, and with the Rams clearly targeting a Super Bowl run, he's once again set up for a great season. Even with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams at receiver, he's ranked 15th average draft position and 8, 14, and 14 by the experts. Maybe that sets him up as a steal for those who can draft him? Or maybe they're just expecting age to finally catch up with him. That's the only concern I can think of. Number 6, Jalen Hurts. This is the one that shows that I'm not just picking players I like. Jalen Hurts has been successful, but I don't think he excels passing or rushing. All those tush pushes add rushing yards and rushing TDs, meaning, most importantly for this list, fantasy points. Hurts is 6th in average draft position and 5th, 6th, and 6th in QB rankings. I'm not being very positive here for a guy I ranked 6th, but at the end of the day, he finds a way to score points even if he had fewer completions last year than Geno Smith, who played one less game. Number 5, Joe Burrow. Burrow only played half the season last year due to injury, which makes predicting his return to form a little harder. He played well when he returned from injury last year and still has top-level wide receivers to help him out. Ranked 3rd in average draft position and 6th, 3, and 4 by the experts, I might be shooting low here. In fact, I don't even really have any concerns with Joe coming into the season, so maybe I should have put him higher. Number 4, Brock Purdy. Purdy is also coming back from a season of injury, but when Purdy did play, he was top 5 in points per game and top 10 in yards per game. Ranked 14th in average draft position and 13, 13, and 13 by the experts, clearly no one but me is hyped on Brock Purdy this season, and I'd expect that's based on the wide receiver room and a returning from injury George Kittle. If it turns into the Purdy-McCaffrey show, this could be a big miss. Number 3, Patrick Mahomes. I think in any other season, having Patrick Mahomes listed third would be a footnote. But his average draft position and rankings lead me to think everyone thinks he's washed, as he's ranked 12th, 14th, 12th, and 12th, respectively. Mahomes tied for second in fantasy points per game last year. It was top 5 in yards per game, with the Matt Nagy handicap holding him back. It is fair, however, to wonder, can he be the same player coming off the injury? But I don't expect it to be a problem. Number 2, Drake May. Drake May is boring, but boring won games and racked up fantasy points as he was both efficient and effective leading the Patriots offense last year. Adding A.J. Brown should add some excitement that allows people to forget about that dud of a Super Bowl. Fantasy football players and the experts love him, though, with rankings of 4, 3, 4, and 3. With the addition of Brown, the biggest risk is really whether opponents can find ways to stymie the offense like the Seahawks did. Number 1, Josh Allen. I mean, are you surprised? Josh Allen had the most fantasy points last year. He had 14 rushing TDs. The Bills added DJ Moore to improve their wide receiver room. Everyone ranks him the number 1 QB, and he's the first QB taken off the board in drafts. Who else is going to be number 1? Biggest risk? Injury? Maybe? He's been resilient. Injuries haven't been an issue for him, but he doesn't play or specifically run conservatively. What about Lamar? Before I started collecting data for this video, I absolutely thought Lamar Jackson would be high on this list. Yes, he was dealing with injuries last year that limited him to 13 games and impacted his stats, but he was a stud a couple years back. He's ranked second and the second QB off the board. How did he not make my top 10 list? I fully expect this will bite me at the end of the year, but I just couldn't find anything to support him being high on the list other than expert predictions. I won't even be bothered if he proves me wrong. So that's it. My top 10 QBs for the coming football season. Will I be right? Odds are no. But that comes with finishing last.